Good morning. Good morning. First off, I gotta say I have to apologize. I have my bulldog in here. Bruce Wayne is in the building, and he's here today. First off, I gotta say good morning to you, David. Thank you very much for being here. It's NFC Championship game weekend. How you feeling?
Yeah, buddy.
So again,
I'm excited.
so sorry to start it out like this, but if you hear the noise, it's Bruce Wayne. He's the dog. He's the guy. He's well, he's not the guy, but he's a male. He's got to be quarantined. He can't be around the other female in the house right now. And we had a little bit of a scare on Friday, and we had to rush him to the hospital, the veterinarian, and they took care of him. Got a couple of shots in him, and he's doing better. But now he can't be around the female right now because he's getting aroused, and it's just a little bit too much on him, and we'll just say it like that. So, folks, he is a noisy eater, and I'm going to try to mute my mic as often as possible. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We had a couple people pop in really early. We have Sir Felix the Cat and Bebop Jones. We got Shifty. Hey, Shifty, how you doing? So, everybody, thank you all for coming. So, David, we have the first game today is the Chiefs and the Ravens. The Ravens are heavily favored.
What is the points in that game?
3.5. I think that's the spread. 3.5.
Oh, okay.
So
that sounds to me like favored because they're the home team type of thing, you know. Oh, okay, you're back.
Yes. So it's just one of those great days. I got Bruce in here making a bunch of noise, and we are anticipating the game. It's nice to have the game at the end, so we kind of know who we're playing. You can, I don't know. I'd rather see the game at the end in case something unfortunate happens. Then you can quietly retire, and your evening can just be the rest of your evening, right? If you win, then you can be up all night and everything, and everybody's feeling great. But if we was to play the early game and then we got to go through the rest of the game, I don't want the Sunday to be ruined, and it won't be ruined, right? Because we're gonna win. But you still have to play the game. You still can anticipate. You still can have your feelings and your emotions, the butterflies. That's what the fans are for. The fans are supposed to be the ones who get nervous, right? The players aren't supposed to get nervous. They're not supposed to have any emotions. They're just supposed to be soldiers. They go out there and they perform, right, David?
Yes. Yeah, we go out there and we cheer. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be running on the field. We're not supposed to be, streaking through the stands, although this stuff does happen. Yeah.
So if anybody would like to come on, we have the link in the chat. You're more than welcome to pop on. Tell us your excitement about the game, your expectations, and me and David will run through this as well. And I will continue to mute because my bulldog is a noisy guy right now. I'm having so much fun this morning. It's great to be. It's just great. It's just great. It really is. So again, shout out to the chat. And if anyone wants to come on, the link is in the chat and I'll repost it. So David, what would you say the keys to victory for the Ravens would be for the Chiefs? It seems like the Chiefs have a decent defense. They're not number one defense, but their defense seems to be carrying them. It doesn't seem to be the offense right now. Mahomes is still Mahomes. So for the Ravens, how do the Ravens go in there? They have the home field advantage. How do they get the W, in your opinion, today?
Well, in my opinion, they need to stop Patrick Mahomes and somehow score points on that defense. And honestly, Kansas City, they turned it on against Buffalo, although Buffalo did score some points against them. And I honestly think Josh Allen was playing very conservative for what he normally does. At this point, you got to contain Lamar Jackson. That's the main thing. You got to force him to be a pocket passer, because if you force him to be a pocket passer and not allow him to run the ball, that makes them one-dimensional. And the Chiefs, they do have the personnel to do this, but I expect a really good game there. I expect it to go back and forth. If it's a one-score lead and the Chiefs have the ball at the end of the game, the Ravens are in trouble. Still muted.
Again, I got to mute when there's times because he's just a noisy guy. He likes to attack his food. He just is one of those kind of guys. So shout out to the chat. Hope everybody's doing great. We're going to go through it slowly, and I'm taking cues and I'm taking things from friends that do things that are clever. So when she comes into the chat, sometimes if I get that opportunity. So let's see if I can do this elegantly again. Love it. I love it. I hope you guys were able to hear that. Tony has done it again. She is in the chat. Niner Gang Podcast. Dion's here. We got John J. Carcast. You guys are great. Edgar, appreciate you as well. Don't give a crap about their Super Bowl right now. No, I don't either. I care about the Niners going to the Super Bowl and winning it.
That's
all right. Shifty saying hello to everybody as well. Okay, and Tony coming in with some thoughts. The Ravens rely heavily on Lamar when his offensive weapons are covered. That is true, and the reason that is true is because Lamar is a pocket passer when everything's going good, and he can scramble when he has to. And he came into the league more as a scrambler, so people want to try to keep him in the pocket. And he's gotten really good at throwing the ball. But when he does have to scramble, when everything breaks down, he is very, very elusive. That would be, I guess, the right word to describe Lamar. Lamar is one of those quarterbacks that if you forget that he can run, he's going to run right past you into the end zone. He's probably the best player on the football field 95% of the time. Would you agree with that, David?
I would agree with that, especially for the Ravens. Yeah, I honestly think he is their best player. But
he's like a Cam Newton, but just a little different, right? Maybe not as flashy with the outfits, and maybe a little bit more quiet, in the press conference. But he's Cam Newton was their Superman, and Lamar is Baltimore's.
Yep, that's a good way to put
it. So how would the Chiefs go in there and silence the critics? Because everybody's picking the Ravens right now.
It's kind of strange how that's happening, because how can you count out Mahomes? I picked the Ravens, but honestly, it's a 50-50 game. This game could go either way. But pretty much both games are. But I look at our Niners like last week was a wake-up call, but we'll get to that in a minute. But at this point, it's they're two vastly different teams. The Ravens have a really good defense. I believe they're number 1 overall, and that they have Lamar Jackson on offense. Their weapons, they're getting tight end Mark Andrews back, but how long has it been since he's played? How many snaps is he going to get? He's not in football shape. And Isaiah Likely has also stepped up. So those are probably their top 2 weapons when it comes to who Lamar can actually pass to. The wide receivers, Odell Beckham Jr. is not what he used to be. He's still good, but he's not what he used to be. I couldn't even name any of the other wide receivers. So Lamar Jackson and their tight ends better step up. But Kansas City's defense also knows this. That they have all the film, right? Mm-hmm. They've seen it. They have had a week to look at everything and prepare. Kansas City's defense has had a week to look at everything and prepare for Mahomes, but that's a tough thing to do. He is a fantastic player. He can single-handedly take the team down the field as long as the receivers and tight ends are actually holding on to his passes when he throws them the ball. and he can beat you. He's proven this. So it's kind of one of those, if someone gets up by multiple scores and makes the other team one-dimensional, they're going to have an advantage in that game. I honestly don't see that happening, though, because even being up 14 against Mahomes, halfway through the fourth quarter, we've all seen what can happen.
I like that. And the reason I agree with that a whole lot, because I both see these teams being basically very explosive when they need to be, but they can be shut down. If you look at the Niners game against the Ravens weren't that dominant on offense against us. It was more of their defense. It was their defense catching interceptions and us not being able to convert on certain downs. If we had our touchdown in the end zone instead of a pick, the game would have been different right there in the beginning. And then you just continue there. The Niners, we got a safety against Lamar because he was playing conservative, and maybe conservative not the right word, but it is. He's not trying to be Superman. He's trying to rely on his team and let his team go out there and play. And then when his team doesn't have that opportunity or they're guarded, then he takes off and he does his thing. The Patrick Mahomes in this game is very similar. I wouldn't call him necessarily a scrambling or a running quarterback, but he's elusive. He is elusive. He is mobile. Maybe not as mobile or as elusive, as Lamar. Lamar right now is probably the closest thing to Michael Vick in the league right now. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's definitely fair to say.
So I see both of these teams being able to, just like what you said, if they one or two of them go up a couple of scores, one of them goes up 2 scores, that's it's going to be hard for the other team to come out because both teams have good defenses. The Ravens have the number 1 defense, and the Chiefs do have a scary, sneaky defense. They really do. It's just they keep them in games. So for me, I would say if Mahomes wants to come in here and win this game, the defense has to get some kind of stop. They have to get some kind of turnover on Lamar, make Lamar stay as a pocket passer. If he gets loose on him and starts running around, I don't know if the Chiefs will be able to stop him enough to hold him out of the end zone. Because Lamar he runs for big first downs. So it's not just 2-3 yards. He scrambles for decent chunks. So if he starts doing that, then they're going to keep moving the chains, and the Chiefs will have a very, very huge game on their hands. But if the Chiefs are able to, get Kelsey involved a little bit, and if people are wondering or they're concerned or fearing the worst, right? Taylor Swift will be in the stands, in the box up there on top. She'll be there watching the game. So the Swiftie magic will still be alive. I see Kansas City coming in here and actually pulling off an upset. Really, if they get pressure on Lamar and keep him in the pocket, make him throw the ball. That's the way I think they could win, David. So, what's your thoughts on our game and the comparison? How do we stop the Lions?
Well, the Lions have 2 1,000-yard rushers. And our run defense during over the course of the season, I believe I've been told it's ranked 3rd. So it's not as bad as a lot of us think. But now that we have Armstead and Hargrave in there, I do expect us to contain the run game. And if you shut the run game down, you're going to make Jared Goff have to beat you. And he's not one of those Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow type of quarterbacks where he can get the whole team up on his back and carry him. He needs a little bit of help. And that's just what you do. You shut their run game down. You make them one-dimensional. They do have, what was that guy? St. Brown, that wide receiver, and Sam Laporta. Mm-hmm. Sam Laporta is a really good tight end. He's actually very, very much like George Kittle. He can block and pass catch. But, at this point, that's just what you do. You shut down the run game. You make them one-dimensional. Jared Goff gets some pressure on him, and he will make mistakes. We've seen this in the past, and the 9 games that we've played against him when he was with the Rams.
He is
3-6
very
against him. Yes.
yes. He's very accurate, but he doesn't have the biggest arm. It doesn't mean that he can't get the ball down the field, but we don't have to play necessarily super far back. We can play close on the receivers, and we can play pretty tight on Jared Goff. So I believe we can shut him down, like you're saying. Are you concerned with the Niners' run defense at all?
Not with Armstead and Hargrave in there. I'm really you start rotating in Kinlaw, Givens, and Sebastian Joseph Day or Kalia Davis. We honestly, I'm not even sure who's active for this game and who's not. If they're going to have Kalia Davis in or not. Kalia Davis is a good run stuffer.
Yeah.
He did. He didn't get that many snaps this year. We didn't get a chance to see what the kid has. But having a guy that can come in, oh, there it is. Anshel just said he was ruled out. So that means they're going to have Sebastian Joseph Day. They're going to go with the veteran versus the young player. Surprise, surprise. That's just what Kyle does, folks. Yeah, I'm honestly wanting to see Jair Brown in there, our safety, because that will also help run support. Logan Ryan, he's a good veteran, but there was a couple plays last week that I thought he was out of position, and he hasn't been with us very long. So having Jair Brown actually start would be a great idea. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but he's been with the team. He knows the defense. He knows his teammates. I have no problem starting a rookie if he's the best option. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm not always in favor of a veteran playing because they've been here before and done that. This doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best player. They can make mistakes too. They can be afraid to make tackle. They can make business decisions in the middle of a football game when you're in an NFC championship game or a playoff matchup. And sometimes those rookies are, well, you can say they're young and dumb, and maybe that's what we need is somebody out there that's not necessarily thinking of their future. They're thinking of what's ahead of them right now, what's right now. So maybe, I don't know, everybody has their own perspective and everybody's different in all aspects, but sometimes maturity doesn't always bless everybody at the right moments, right? So I'm looking at this game. If we can stop the run, the Niners defense is going to be able to then start really forcing Goff to beat us. And if Goff has to be that guy, oh boy, I mean, there's only so many passes that he can make, and the Niners defense are pretty quick. I like our chances. I really do. The one thing I don't like our chances is if he turns into like a Kirk Cousins on us and we don't get any pressure on him, or we get pressure on him, but we don't turn those pressures into sacks. See, I think the sacks really mess with people. I think they really mess with people. When you start hitting somebody out there on the football field and they have to keep getting up off the ground, sure, they completed the pass, but you hit them. They know the next play you're going to hit them again. They might get the ball off it, and you might score a touchdown, but you're going to get hit again. Sometimes after getting hit a couple times, you don't want to get hit anymore.
And especially by our team.
Yeah.
Greenlaw and Lenore, you don't want to get hit by them. They will. They'll pop you. And they'll try to do it legally, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I am happy to see that we have Armstead back. Armstead coming back is going to be a lot of help. He was helped last week, maybe a little rusty, but he was helped last week. He says he feels healthy. He says he feels better, rested and stuff. So that's good. And a lot of people do love it when he's in there. When he's in there, he does help the run. I didn't notice it necessarily, and I didn't really not disbelieve it, but I've noticed it more and more over the last couple games last season when he was out. And then this season, when he is out, our run defense is suspect. Hey, shout out to David Corona and Damian Lee. I felt something in the force. Hey, what'd you know? So I just think we got a great opportunity. I found out, and I heard the other day. Then I found out. You got to sometimes when you hear, you got to go and read it yourself, or you got to look into it and do your own research, right? So Jake Moody's family is, drum roll, Lions fans.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we definitely will be excited to see the game. They'll be, rooting probably for a great game, of course, but I think they'll be rooting for their son, of course. Hey, coming in, we'll be bringing in a good friend, David Corona, and if anybody else would like to call in, the link is in the chat. David Corona, thank you for coming. We'll have you on
What's
for a
up?
little bit. We'll get your thoughts and your vibes. And the question right now is, how do the 49ers stop the Lions run?
There you go. It's got a CMC jersey.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I've been wearing this jersey all season long. Why I want to switch it now?
You can't. You got to keep it up. Got to keep it up.
All right.
So how do the 49ers stop the run?
Oh man. Defense have to just play better. Play better. Again, when they play Green Bay, they need to step it up. Fred Warner, Greenlaw, um, Nick Bosa. We need Hargrave to step up. Chase Young too. We need Chase Young to step up. Um, we need everybody to step up today, stop the run, and get this big win.
All right. I love it. Good morning, Anshaw.
Good
Same
morning.
question for you, my buddy.
Good morning.
How do the Niners stop the run? The Lions run.
So what I think is gonna happen is, last week, right? A lot of the success that the Packers had, especially early on, was those toss plays. The Niners did eventually, I feel like, do a better job of that, but I do expect that the Lions are going to try that out. Especially with a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. So my keys for stopping like the tosses, you have to have obviously Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner getting to that side, but also, on the edge. If I'm guessing, probably they're gonna run it towards the side of Chase Young. So Chase Young has got to be on his P's and Q's when it comes to that. And inside, yeah, they're just gonna have to crash it. Both, Armstead and Hargrave. Hopefully, Armstead a little bit better this week. Now that he's had a game under his belt. Since he's been hurt. So yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to throw it to David over here, and David can ask you both some questions because the David and McNiner, the Culp and McNiner show, or David and Bryant, however you want to say it, just don't call us ugly. So David, we have two guests here, and if anybody else will want to come on, we'll bring them on, and then maybe we'll rotate out some people. But we'll go from there. But David, do you have any questions for either one of these guys? Anshul has a great channel, great media. He is doing some stuff in college right now, so he's taking a little bit of a break. He can tell you a little bit more about that, but he does have a lot of insight, and I know you know him as well, David. We've worked with him, and we have Mr. Corona here as well. So, David, I'm gonna throw it to you, and I got to check Murphy for a second.
So I'm looking at offensive impact players here. Who's gonna have the biggest impact on this game? You know all the weapons and everything we have. We'll start with Anshul.
I think it's Debo Samuel, man, because obviously after last week, definitely he's disappointed that he got hurt, but no limits. He was asked this week like, "Oh, how do you protect yourself?" And he's like, "I ain't protecting myself." And that's what you would expect to hear from a guy like Debo. So I think he's gonna have a big game because I think the Niners are gonna be able to use that screen game more this week, which I think should open up the offense. Because every time Debo, isn't there, this offense you see it goes a little flat. So I definitely think, obviously just having his presence there too, even if he's not getting the ball, it's just so, good, and it makes it difficult for these defenses. So I'm thinking Debo.
Sweet. Corona, you there, buddy? I like his picture. Candlestick. Corona, who's gonna have the biggest impact on offense, buddy?
I feel the same way he's going, but I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna go with Christian McCaffrey. I say him and Debo is gonna have 2 touchdowns each. And my hot
Ooh, I
take
like
is Greenlaw will get a pick 6.
Oh, dang. I like it.
Did it in Detroit a few years ago.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Bryant.
Yes, sir.
We're talking offense. Who's going to have the most impact offensive players here? Who do you got?
CMC is going to get the ball. He's definitely going to get the ball. I think Debo is going to be the decoy. I see Kittle getting a tutty, if you want to say it like that, a TD. I could see Brandon Ayuk getting into the end zone. I would like to see him throw the ball to Juice a little bit. You know, I like Juice. I like get me some Juice. But and he's a great player. But no, do it the way we've done it all year. Give it to the guys. You know, all the guys they've given it to all the guys. We spread the ball to everybody. But we know Christian McCaffrey runs the rock, run the ball, open up the ball. You know, play action so we can throw it to Kittle and fake it to Debo a little bit. Give it to Debo a little bit. You know, see how he's playing. And, you know, go all out because we got to get to the Super Bowl. You know, we got to get to the Super Bowl. We got to win this game. And after this game, they can rest. They can take breaks. You know, they got a couple of weeks, a couple of days that they can heal up. But this game, I'd like to see a fake.
Excuse me, Brian. I gotta go. Let's go Niners. But you guys have a good day.
All right. Thanks for coming, man.
We'll
talk to you later.
Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah. McNiner, Brian. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see a fake punt. I don't care, and I don't want to see it on Detroit side because they will do it. I want the Niners to be aggressive. If we need to fake, I don't want them to be afraid. I thought everybody earlier in the season when he ran for that punt, it was like 22 yards.
I know, and then it was some BS because they said, "Oh, you know, because Ronnie Bell fell and like
22 miles an hour." I'm sorry. Everybody was like, he didn't run that fast. And other people were saying it. And I was like, that boy ran 22 miles an hour. You let him run. I mean, like, let him run.
I do think we should go for it a little bit more, though, if it's like 4th and 1, because the one thing Dan Campbell does, which that means our 4th down defense is going to have to be, you know, locked up, is he'll go for it on, you know, 4th and short. So.
All right. Well, we're going to bring on another buddy. Anshaw, if you'd like to stay for a little bit longer, you're more than welcome. We're going to bring on CarCast and get his, CarCast. Well, if he comes back in, you know, he's got that New Jersey Wi-Fi, right? You know, there's something about that, right? And,
he's cool.
You know, I say it like that because he would say it as well. He'd want me to, you know, yeah. So it's not no shots or anything like that. It's just some places got it better than others, right? All right. So, David, what else you got, man? You got another question for everybody?
Well, you know, defensively, it looks to me like we have everybody, which is kind of insane. Who should start at safety, Logan Ryan or Jair Brown? Angel?
If I see Logan Ryan on the field, I'm about to like punch my TV or something because that man is slow, and we all seen, I'm sure, the clip of him missing that run, which was the reason why Aaron Jones had that super long run. So I don't even care if Jair Brown's a rookie, man. He has the continuity already with a guy like Tashawn Gibson. You know, Logan Ryan, it's been like a month that he's been here. He hasn't really been playing, I feel like, for that long too. So definitely I hope to see that Jair Brown's in there, which I think could also help out a guy like Ambry Thomas, who kind of struggled a little bit, but you know, just historically too, kind of gives me some hope with Ambry Thomas because he has historically, come back to have a better game, after a rough game. So
Okay, I gotta get this in. I love my Chuck Norris, right? And my dad used to tell me my uncle looks like Chuck Norris, so he always tells me Chuck Norris jokes, right? So Steve-O says this, and this is really funny. First off, let's start out with this one. Dan Campbell is going to be ready. Let's hope Shanahan has all the right schemes. Yes, he's going to have the Lions ready. Okay, so now Brown. I also think Brown. Now this is the funny part. Steve-O comes in. I heard when Dan Campbell enters the room, Chuck Norris leaves. Oh my gosh. Now, Chuck Norris is the one guy you don't want to get into a fight with because not only is he going to kick your ass when you're alive, he's going to kick your ass when you're dead. Like that's just like that's Chuck Norris. He's Chuck Norris is the man. He's the man. He's the myth. He's a legend. He made a legend a myth. Okay, so that's just Chuck Norris. But yeah, he said that. He said that because he heard Chuck Norris doesn't like him. That's funny. All right. Yeah, no violence against TVs. No, we don't want that. Not in California. Leave that in Texas.
No, we're not Cowboys fans. We don't do that. Or Eagles. Eagles fans also did that last season.
I don't know. I just came up with that over the top of my head.
That's funny. Now Carcast is back. I'm gonna bring him in real quick. All right. We got Carcast. How you doing, Carcast?
What's up, guys? Good morning. What's up?
Good morning, Carcast.
It's an interesting picture you got there, Carcast.
Oh yeah, I forgot to change it, but crap. I mean, screw both those guys. They're sitting on the couch, so it doesn't matter.
All right.
Yep.
So thank you for coming. David's got some questions for everybody, and we'll give it to you. So, David, same question, right, for Carcast?
Yeah, well, there's two of them. What offensive player is going to have the biggest impact? We'll start with that one.
Oh man, I would say McCaffrey, but it's like I always choose McCaffrey because he's always bound to have a really good game. But I think Debo is gonna step up, man. Coming back from injury, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, especially. He's had a lot of talk, especially with that C.J. Garner-Johnson. I think he's gonna come out with some fire, man. I think, it's going to be Debo. I think we have to get Ayuk involved early as well. I mean, let's get him some targets. Like, he can do a lot of damage with only like 5 or 6 targets. Like, let's throw it down the field. Let's get Ayuk involved. But I think Debo is going to be the guy, man. I think Debo is going to do his thing. I think all around, I think we're going to spread the ball around, get it to our guys. Kittle, Jennings. It's good to have Jennings back. But yeah, I think it's going to be all around team effort. Good win, but man, I'm excited to see how Debo bounces back, man. Because he had a press conference and he's like, "Yep."
We all know Debo talks, but when he talks, he backs it up.
Exactly.
He puts his money
He
where
talks the talk and walks the walk. So
James Bradbury was trash, and he proved it when we played the Eagles. So
yeah, that's facts. But the second question is, should Jair Brown start over Logan Ryan?
Oh yeah, I think so. Logan Ryan, he's a veteran. He's been in the league. He's won a Super Bowl, this and that. But man, last week against the Packers, he just looked like an afterthought to me. I mean, I think it was that 53-yard run by Jones. I mean, he just took a crappy angle, and Jones just cut right by him and just took it like another 40 yards down the field. I mean, I want to see Jair Brown out there, man. I think ever since the Hufanga injury, he's come in and he's been playing well. He's been playing consistent. You could nitpick and say, oh, he did some stuff over here, this and that. But man, for the most part, I think he's holding his own. He's holding his ground. But yeah, I want to see Jair Brown out there. He's had a couple of picks as well, so I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah, he has. There's a reason we traded up to get him.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason we did.
Exactly.
And, Kyle Shanahan not liking to playing rookies. I've always been against that because, now, yeah, he's in practice, and that doesn't replicate game reps. And now you have a whole season of development that has been hindered because you don't play rookies. Right? Yeah. It's like Hufanga, his rookie year. I was like, He came in. I was like, this guy's going to be pretty good in our system. And we saw him making plays on special teams. He was the guy that picked up the blocked punt at Green Bay in the playoffs and scored a touchdown. From what I saw, we saw a little of Hufanga during that rookie season, but when he was in, he had a neck that can't be coached. Being in the right place at the right time, you cannot coach that. Yep. It's just something. If you see a player that has that, you pick him.
Right on.
I'm still wondering why he dropped to the 5th round. He was he's one of our 5th round picks. We seem to be getting famous for that.
Mm-hmm.
But so I haven't actually answered either of my questions. So honestly, I look at it like Debo's back, and he's hopefully we haven't seen many jet sweeps or anything like that. So hopefully Kyle schemes it up, and we see some, old school Debo plays coming out. I honestly think George Kittle is going to have a big impact in this game. He always seems to step it up in the playoffs. Last week, he was the first guy to score a touchdown for us. I got him doing the same this week. And when it comes to safety, I 100% want Jair Brown out there, mainly because he's been in our system. He knows the players around him. Logan Ryan was a late season signing and did look out of place a few times during the game last week. So let's get the kid back in there, Kyle. I don't care if he's a rookie. Get the kid back in there. He's going to help us.
Yep. Just because you're a veteran doesn't mean that you're not going to make a mistake. It doesn't mean, maybe if he would have started the season with us or something like that, he would have had more time to play around. But it seems like he's the fish out of water, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yep. And Jair Brown came from Penn State, so he's been in some of these big games too. So
shout out.
I got to remind everybody that we're dual streaming on both channels, my channel and Bryant's. So if you'd be so kind as to, if you're watching on mine and haven't popped into Bryant's and hit the like button, please do, and vice versa. Thank you.
Yep. We appreciate it. And if you subscribe to one, please subscribe to both, because we do a lot of stuff together and it's a lot of fun, and we do things on our own too. So sometimes, if you want to see one or both, you got to turn that notification on so you can get it. And we got Scott Hill in here. Thank you, Scott, for coming through. We appreciate you. And I think we're all agreeing with you. Logan Ryan is not the answer. Not the answer.
No.
He doesn't have to be the problem either, but I don't think he's the answer. So, Shanahan, we know how Shanahan likes to roll. He doesn't necessarily throw rookies out there. So we'll see how it goes. But, sometimes you have to get out of your shell. And you have to think out of the box sometimes and do things that other people expect you to do. And, that's like what's going on with Dan Campbell. He has the Lions fighting. He has the Lions. They'll run through a brick wall for that guy. And then they'll run through another one for him because they know he's going to do it. And he's going to do it giggling with them. So sometimes to be, young, dumb, it's and I'm not saying that Lions are dumb, but you haven't been here before. You don't know what to expect. They don't know what to expect. So they're going to go for it all because they don't know if they're going to get back here again. The Niners have been here. We've been here before. And this is why I don't want us to be complacent and take too much off or not give enough effort. Be like, we've done this before. We played against the West. We played against the East. Now we're playing against the North. Next year, if we're playing against the South, I hope it's because we have a Super Bowl ring to back it up. And if we don't, okay, we're in the South playing the NFC Championship game again next year. Okay, is that our year we're going to the Super Bowl? Why can't it be this year? So not thinking about next year, not thinking about the Super Bowl, thinking about just today and against the Lions. Let's go all out. All out. Let's win it. Let's win it big. We got Paul Hope jumping in. Thank you, Paul, for coming through.
Don't forget the Lions also bite kneecaps and kind of, the last game, they've kind of done some stuff that looks a little dirty. But it's all on film. Our players have seen it. Hopefully they know to watch out for that stuff. we play physical football. So I honestly don't think it's anything new, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Man, did you guys see that? Paul says, "Let's go Niners." Their kickoff is over there at 11:30 p.m.
Man.
That's
Wow.
dedication. That's being faithful. You know,
Oh, yeah.
if I lived over there and I was, I'd want to watch the 49ers too, so I could feel it. And you'd make any adjustments that you get. And I really do appreciate it. So okay, we have Paul Hope dropping his score prediction. 30-21 Niners win. And we also have Donald Johnson who showed up. Thank you, Donald, for coming. Damian Lee, I think BA could have a huge game. I think it could happen. And then let's see what Damian says down here at the bottom. He says we beat Philly on Rocky Day. I would have felt bad if it was Rambo Day. I like to say Rambo, but yeah, Tony thinks it's funny. Guys, if you don't have butterflies, then more power to you. I have butterflies. I am going to be nervous all the way up until kickoff. I will be nervous watching the game, but I'm going to be excited, and the nerves are going to go away. The excitement will take over, and we'll go from there. Last week's game was one heck of a game. I'm glad we came out on top, but I don't like games like that all the time. Sometimes it's nice to have a nice game where you see it's a nice big blowout, and you just you respect and you admire those games, and just you look for those games so much more, especially when you have those nail biters. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I think I had a couple gray hairs that came out. I'm not going to show you where they're at. I'm not worried about that, but I tell you what, maybe a couple seconds off my life might have came. I don't know, but I tell you, there was about 7 minutes left. I want to say around 7, and the kicker missed the kick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I looked at Tony and I said, I think we have a chance now. I think we have a chance when they're running back Aaron, right?
Yep. Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, when he ran all the way down the field, I'm like, oh, if we go up, if he scores touchdown, I think it's over. So, yeah, I'm just really excited. I am really excited. I think this is an opportunity for us to silence the doubters, and they'll still be talking. So we got to go and win that Super Bowl. We got to finish the job. I'm gonna bring in John Jay, and I'm gonna give it back to David up there.
Good morning,
Yeah,
everybody.
Good morning, John
Yo.
Jay.
So who's going to be our biggest offensive impact player-wise?
That's a good question because we have so many great players on offense. There's like no right or wrong answer. I'm actually going to go outside the box, and I'm going to say Jawan Jennings. I think Jawan Jennings will have a good game like last week when he had that amazing catch that Brock Purdy threw to him. So I'm going to pick him. I think while the defensive coordinators of the Lions are going to focus on Kittle, try to stop CMC, Brandon Ayuk. I think he's going to be that quiet hero that during the game will make big plays at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. And should Jair Brown start over Logan Ryan?
Yes, Logan Ryan. I wasn't very impressed last week. Not saying he was bad, but there are some moments where like you wanted to like scream at your TV. So I'm glad Jair Brown is back.
Have they announced who's starting? That probably haven't. We'll probably have to watch the game and see who's out there, right? But has anyone looked at the inactives versus actives list?
I don't think that's gonna be out until like I think it's an hour and a half. I think
Hour before the
90
game.
minutes until kickoff.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we can
interested
kind
to
of
see
guess,
that,
but like, yeah, we're not gonna know the full actual list for a while.
I know Kalia Davis has already been ruled out of the game.
Yep.
Which, But I mean, and we all know Cleveland Farrell got put on IR, so he's not going to be with us. And
I
that
think
kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think the main thing to watch is to see if Oren Burks plays, because I know he's questionable going into this game. So I think that's why they brought up a guy like Curtis Robinson from the practice squad. So that's definitely a name to watch.
We also have Flanagan fouls. What is it? Jalen Graham and D Winters. So linebacker 3 should be well covered no matter who's in there.
I got to interrupt for a second. Tommy brings up a good question. Over or under 1.5 missed field goals? I said the man is going all the way today. He's going to be perfect. If they ask him to kick a PAT, he's going to do it. If they ask him to kick a 52-yarder, he'll do it. I think if they ask him to kick it in the end zone, he'll do it. I believe in Jake. I think he's gonna shock the world. That's my hot take. That's a good question, Tommy. Really good question.
I'm not going to answer that question just to not give any negative energy.
That's perfect. I mean, we don't all have to agree, but we don't have to argue either, right? Or be like, oh, no, I don't think he's going to do it. I don't believe in him. Well, that's okay. Just believe in me. If you don't believe in him, believe in me. Because when he doesn't, or if he does, either way, 49ers.
Yep.
All day.
So I was talking to Ash from Roar of the Lions, and he says that he's more confident in our kicker than his kicker. And that's coming from a Lions fan.
Who is their kicker?
Baggert, something like that.
They don't have Prater, right? No, they used to have him. I think it's Michael Batchley or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That sounds about right.
I actually Googled Lions kicker just to see who they have, and I was looking at images, and I saw 3 or 4 different kickers. It's like, have they had the same kicker all season?
I heard their punter is pretty good as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to the Lions, rush defense wise, they're not very good. Pass defense wise, their pass rushes the last several games has made them better. But at this point, we got to be unstoppable on offense. We've seen it where we just look like we're unstoppable. There's no way anyone could compete with us, and that's what we need to bring out in this game. We need to be on point. Don't need to be collecting penalties, especially on offense or defense, or special teams. We just need to play a clean game, play 49er football. Let's run the ball down their throats, get some play action passing going on, maybe see some jet sweeps. It'd be nice to see the stuff that Kyle Shanahan was busting out before we had Brock Purdy. There's a lot of things that I don't see anymore now that we have Brock Purdy, and it's like, why don't we get back to doing that? Make it so the other team does not know what to expect.
I have a question for you guys. Last week we threw the ball, I think, 40 plus times? Do you think we're going to do that again today?
Nope.
I think we threw the ball 39 times last week. Yes, that's not characteristic of us, and like during the Ravens game, we actually threw it 48 times, and I don't think we even hit 20 rushes. That's just not 49er football. I mean, I think we're going to get back to doing what we do, and it'd be nice for Kyle to come out. The last couple of games, he comes out and he just starts passing the ball around. Mm-hmm. And it would be nice to just start out with the run up the gut. Let's get moving in a positive direction here and start wearing that defense down. Because, running the ball 30 plus times, it wears on a defense because they all have to run up and, actually try to tackle the runner, right? Mm-hmm. Versus passing the ball, everyone's covering their guy, and the guys closest to him have to, bring him down, which isn't an easy feat against us with Kittle and Debo and Ayuk and even CMC getting out there. Throw
Jennings.
Juwan Jennings in there. He's not easy to bring down either. So, but at this point, I would love to see us run the ball 30, 35 times like we normally do. Pass the ball 25, 30 times, somewhere around there. Get back to running the ball more than passing it. It has big effects on the team too. It rests the defense,
Yep.
it eats the clock, shortens the game, and just the main thing, keeping our defense fresh and wearing their defense down. Late in the game, that's going to have a huge effect on the outcome. Bryant, what do you got?
Okay. I was looking up the kicker for the Lions. He's not a rookie because Tommy asked if he was a rookie. He's not a rookie. He played for the Chargers in 2019, 2020. Then he played for the Titans and the Colts in 2021. And then he played for the Bears and the Lions in 2022. So
Interesting.
that's it's when you're a player, it doesn't necessarily you're going to be on that team for very long, but you might fit in for another place. But sometimes they think, oh, maybe we can just go in a different direction. But
I was just seeing this, but Alex Smith, I guess, was saying that Brock Purdy's not allowed into this club because he's not known as the game manager or whatever.
So Joe Stevens brings up a good point or a good question, I think, because I would imagine it is a question. He says, "Go Lions! Where are they going?"
On the
Going
couch.
What's up,
They're
Joe?
going to San Francisco, which plays in an open stadium, not a dome.
Yes.
And David, you bring up a good point. How do the Lions do when they're outside of the dome?
I'm honestly not that sure. I know they were good at home, and they played good at Dallas, which is another dome, right?
Yep.
They played pretty good at Minnesota, which is another dome. I believe they lost to the Packers in their, Lambeau. And when it comes down to it, they're better in a dome than they are outside of a dome. So now here they are, they're at Santa Clara. It does get some interesting winds going on in there. I was there, I know.
Their kicker's about to miss a couple.
Hey, it's not even going to be raining today, so I expect us to be on fire.
Nope.
I don't, when it comes to raining, it's just one of those things that a rain game equals running the ball more than passing the ball, but then we're passing the ball more than running the ball. I mean, it just doesn't, it doesn't make sense in my brain. I'm still trying to figure out why we did that.
Sure.
I think when it came to the Ravens game, I think the Niners were just kind of filling out the game and seeing what they could get away with and testing themselves against the Ravens. Because at a certain point, they knew after they turned over the ball so many times, they weren't going to be able to win that game. So it wasn't that they weren't trying, but they still were moving the ball effectively and efficiently. I mean, Sam Darnold moved the ball on them, guys. Yep. So I don't think the Niners are afraid to throw the ball on the Ravens or against really anybody. I think they are a little bit maybe more aware and they'll be better prepared for the upcoming time because what the Ravens did against us that I don't think many other teams really did, maybe the Browns, but we got attacked from the corners. You try to rush us at the middle. Brock Purdy's great. He loves getting rushed in his face, but we come from the corners and stuff. It doesn't seem like it was making him play bad, but the hands that was coming up and them tipping passes and stuff and making it a little bit uncomfortable for him to throw the ball to the side of the field and stuff. That was really smart of them to play us that way. And I think a lot of teams that have seen that game have tried to model against us. And you've seen him come against Washington. He just came out there and really just obliterated Washington, right? So I don't think it's going to really matter if we run or pass. But yeah, I don't understand the weather games and not practicing with weather ball conditions, and I just don't understand that. You can go get a Home Depot bucket or a Lowe's bucket and fill it up with water and soak the footballs in it, and then throw them. Keep dipping the balls there. And I don't know, guys. It's just, we're not coaches, and we could say, oh, you could do this or that, and really anybody could always have a suggestion given to them, in a profession or even just doing something in general. Be like, hey, try it this way. But as for those people that take those suggestions, hey, but sometimes when people listen to too many people and they start doing what everybody else is telling them to do, they don't do what they think's right. And sooner or later, you got to live and die by what you think, right? You got to kind of live your own. So Kyle thinks he knows better. Well, Kyle, go show us. Do it. Let's get to the Super Bowl. Let's win it. I love it.
That's true.
I love sitting back and talking with people and getting their opinions and their thoughts on different things and stuff. As long as it's a friendly conversation where people can live and let people have their own opinion, it's good. But when people get too ferocious and they get too aggressive, and my opinion's the only one that's right. Okay, well, it might be right for you in your situation. But again, 28-3 is a pretty big mistake. And the Niners thought he was the best guy to go after to get us to the Super Bowl and get a championship. So hopefully the mistakes that he's learned from, he can use those and, implement them to us to get us to where we need to go. David, you want to go around the table and get everybody's final thoughts on the game, or do you want to do score predictions? Does anybody feel that's a little weird, or I'm not really
honestly. I gave a score prediction, and it was 27-21. I expect it to be one of those type of games with our defense, clinching it at the end.
Yeah. So I asked a question. I'll throw it out there. I don't like really throwing out a score prediction for the Niners. I know we do it throughout the season sometimes. It's just, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What I want to be right about is the Niners winning, right? But I could see the Niners scoring above 30 points. I actually wrote in someone else's channel, and I'm going to stick with that. I think I said 38-13. So the Niners defense said they only need the Niners to score 3 points. Well, I believe our offense is going to score more than 3 points. I don't see us holding Detroit back the whole game, especially if we get up that far. It seems like if we get a blowout, we let the other team come back a little bit. And I don't know if that's just being friendly and trying to give the other team like an opportunity to save grace a little bit. But we get to a point where we start taking our foot off the gas and teams start coming back on us, and then we have to put our starters back in. And it's happened against who? Detroit.
Lions.
So yeah, I don't want to see that happen. So Anshaw, would you like to give a little bit of a score prediction, or at least like a variation, or
Okay, I'll say how many points I think the Niners are gonna score. Because I also too don't really give score prediction. I do think that the 49ers do get into that 31 mark, and I think the defense has 2 takeaways. And like what you were saying about the Detroit Lions and having it be a blowout. Yeah, man, you cannot put your gas down because, like you said, last time we played them, they almost came back, and they're known for that. Dan Campbell, never stops fighting till the clock hits 0 in the 4th.
I love it. John Jay, what do you think? How, you want to give us like a estimated prediction? It doesn't have to be, for number, but like you ballpark figure. You think Niners score over 30? Do you think the Lions score 21?
Let's see. Yesterday on my podcast with Ash from UK, I threw out 50 points combined for both teams. I think both teams are going to put points on the board. I don't think the Lions are going to be as bad as most people. I think these are not the same Lions. But I did say a prediction that has nothing to do with the score, and I wanted to share it, that Brock Purdy, just like last week against the Packers, he will do a better drive to take the lead at the remaining minutes of the fourth quarter, or possibly win it, because we've been hearing, Brock Purdy is not a good quarterback. Brock Purdy's not a good quarterback. We hear it every single day. that's their opinion. I think the critics are going to be like, oh my gosh, we need to start giving this guy credit. That's going to be my game prediction. And I think both teams will be, I'm not saying it's going to be a shootout, but I think 50 points combined could be something that it will be a fun game. The Lions will put points on the board. They had almost 60 touchdowns this season, and the Niners are sort of the same way. We've scored the same amount of touchdowns as the Lions. I do worry about the Lions and their pass defense, which is horrendous, but their run defense. So we'll see what happens. But I think 50 points combined. I think the team 27 will win the game. 26 for the team that won't. So that's my score prediction.
All right, I like it. I'll take it. Carcast, same question. How you feeling about the game? What's the point spread? What's the points that you're thinking in your head?
For the Niners, I think the 49ers are going to put up 35 points. I definitely think they're going to put up over 30. So I think the Lions are going to come. I think the Lions are going to come out fighting, man. I truly think that. I don't want to give away my score prediction right now, but I think they're definitely going to put up over 21 points. It's going to be a very close game. It's going to be a one-score game at the end, but I think the Niners are going to pull it out. But yeah, man, I got the Niners winning. Got them putting up 35, especially against their suspect pass defense. I think we're just going to, not saying we're going to have a field day throwing the ball, but we're definitely going to have some wide open guys, and I think Brock Purdy is going to hit them. I think it's going to be a good day for the Niners offense.
We got Jess in the chat, and she actually took a picture with Kyle. I saw that on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So, did you tell him to run the ball, Jess?
That's too funny. Well, folks, we are going to probably get out of here now because it's been that time. We like to keep it to about an hour on game days. And when the season starts, we got 2 games left, folks. 3 games, right? We got 2 today. We got the Super Bowl. Maybe 4 if you count the Pro Bowl. I don't know if that's really a game. But after that, we might start going a little bit and doing things a little bit longer. But for now, we're going to go ahead and end it. And we're going to say MICKEY, MOUSE, right? And hope the Niners put out a valiant effort, do what we know they can do. Same thing for the game ahead of it. We just want a good game. Both games, be exactly what everybody wants. These are the 4 best teams still standing. I want to see them put their efforts towards it.
Yep.
Thank you guys all for coming. Please subscribe to David and my channels. Anshul has a couple channels as well. David and Carcast have channels. We all do things together. You guys seen us here before, and you'll probably see us again. Thank you guys so much for coming. Whatever happens, stay faithful. Remember, games are made to be played. There's a winner and there's a loser. And at the end, when the dust settles, the Niners are coming ahead. The Niners will prevail. That's because we're faithful. And, hey, we're going to be here. Thank you guys all for coming. David, would you like to send us out? Oh, and before we go, there is a quest, guys, and it's real. And the Niners are very close to meeting the quest. And if you haven't heard about it, it's the quest for Corey Davis and Laura Cat. And please keep them in your prayers and your thoughts. And when you're watching the game, just know they're going to be watching it. They're going to be watching and rooting for the Niners as well. And anybody else that that you've lost in recently or even a little bit longer ago, they're there with you. 49er fans, they don't ever fade. No one fades away. As long as you keep them in your memories, you keep thinking about them, they'll still be around. Guys, thank you so much for coming. David, will you send us out?
Hey, as Corey Davis would say, go Niners and F all 31 other teams.
Yes, sir.